Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit Britain, a country where you still have politicians in the House of Parliament asking Boris Johnson to quickly come up with the sunny uplands. John Redwood was in the House of Parliament posing questions to Boris Johnson about talking about, where are the sunny uplands, all the jobs and this. Right. But the problem is, he was actually serious. He actually believes in this. He actually believes in Brexit. The man is as mad as a cow that decides, you know what, I'm going to cross the M25 in rush hour. All 8 lanes. He's going to cross over. Want to do it. See what happens. Cow's not going to get knocked over. But you know something? It's going to cause one hell of a mess behind it. Probably going to be quite a few collisions behind it. But the cow itself could just sit in the road. Nothing happened to it. Also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go for all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. And can you believe it's already we're coming soon, to the end of February. It's unbelievable. Really, just this month is just flying past because we're this 21st. It's Monday the 21st now. I'd say an RIP to Jamal Edwards. Right? I don't know if you know about him, but he's a pioneer in grime music. Right? He's only 30. Well, as he's a pioneer in grime music, then he can't be really that old, can he? So he's like 31 years old. Right? From West London, and he's really, sad. I mean, all the massive names are coming out, as a tribute to him. Do you know what I mean? Jessie J, Stormzy, Ed Sheeran, who he actually, it was him that actually brought Ed Sheeran through as well. So along with like Dave and Jessie J as well, so loads of names that he actually put on his platform to bring them through because he founded the SBTV. So so RIP to him. I'd just say he's only 31 years old. So that probably means that his grandparents are probably still alive. So it's just really, really sad. 31 years old, but he packed so much into that 31 years. And I see, I used to see him with hanging out with Prince Charles or Richard Branson, and all these type of people. He would be hanging out with, So and he has got an MBA as well. So in that short space of time, he packed one hell of a lot into 31 years. He really packed a lot into that. And finally, we get a gold medal right in the Winter Olympics, right, in the curling, which is not an exciting sport. Unless it's at the Olympics, then we could all sit down and enjoy the curling. Because it's bloody exciting. to be truthful, it's not something I would normally watch, but but as I said, we have got our first gold medal in that. I'm sure I think the games might have ended last night. And there's another story from there, but I'll go through that tomorrow. And we have it looks like there's going to be a lifting of COVID restrictions, right? A lot of people saying it's far too early. It's we shouldn't be doing it yet because it's far too early. A lot of people think Boris Johnson's doing this because he's because of his ratings, right? So he feels that he needs to because he's been giving people all sorts of different stuff, hasn't he, over the last few weeks, because he's trying to keep everyone away from Partygate. Right, over the weekend, it's only James Cleverly. James Cleverly is the only one who actually I heard actually come out and said, no, even if he does get a penalty notice, he shouldn't resign. And I said, well, does it really matter? I mean, the thing that he should have resigned about anyway. But for me, as I said, right, I'm quite enjoying Boris Johnson's premiership because I think the people of this country deserve Boris Johnson. That's what the truth is. Right? So much of the politicians was out on the weekend, right? Just bouncing around the question if he should resign if he gets a penalty notice. Still, but even Boris Johnson, I saw Boris Johnson just bouncing around the question. I mean, he's just answering something completely different. The presenter asked him the question and he just dances round and then just brings it back down to I got Brexit done. you know, or well, the vaccine rollout. You think to yourself, seriously, right? No, your legacy, yeah, is the 160,000 dead people. That's what your legacy is. Right? Your legacy is not no vaccine. It's not the vaccine rollout. That's not you. That's the NHS, not you. Right? So that's his legacy. Right. And yes, and I don't know if you've seen like over the weekend but Donald Trump. I mean, it's just like things have just gone really from bad to worst for Donald Trump now, because obviously I think it's Letitia James, because Donald Trump said that she's racist. because she's going after him. Really, well, you know something, yeah. All of those major moguls in America, yeah, they always get taken down by taxes. That's the thing that always takes them down, right? Because because a lot of times, yeah, you can't get them on their on the actual crimes they're committing. Right, but the good thing is when they're committing those crimes, they're always dodging tax as well, right? Which is what's happened to Donald Trump. And I've always said the worst thing that Donald Trump done here was actually going to be president, right? Because that put a focus on him, and then people could really start to look into his finances and stuff like that, right? So what's happened to him now, right? Is obviously he's now been subpoenaed. Right. So now he's got to go and give evidence. He's got to give evidence under oath in court, right? So he can't lie about anything. And Donald Trump's biggest thing has always been, I want people to think that I'm richer than I really am, right? As if saying, we really care. All we know, yeah, is that there's been stages, yeah, where he's got kiss me ass money. Right? That's a hell of a lot of money, by the way, right? So Donald Trump, yeah, he's always like people to believe, yeah, that he's richer than he really is, right? So now him and the two of his kids have got to give evidence under oath, right? And his accountancy firm have just dropped him. They just said, you know what, all the accounts from 10 years previous, you can't rely on them, which is a really bad thing. It's not good for Donald Trump, because this means now, yeah, that the loans, right, or leases that he's got on the back of those accounts, right, are no longer going to be valid, right? So he's got loans with like Deutsche Bank for over 170 million. Now Deutsche Bank can just call those loans in now like that, because the accounts that he gave, yeah, are false to get that loan. Right, but he's got a major problem, I think, in New York as well, where he's trying to sell the lease on his hotel, yeah, for $375 million, right? But he used those same accounts to get that lease. Now, right, it's down to the city of New York whether or not they just block that sale and just say no, you can't sell that, because you used illegal money to get that illegal paperwork to get that money in the first place. So now we'll have to see how that situation plays out. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good for Donald Trump. It's not. But if you see the big ass statement that he put out over the weekend, because all his lawyers was in court trying to argue with the judge, right? Because the judge said, well, no, he's got to come in and speak under oath. His lawyers was in the court arguing with the judge, right? And say, well, what about Hillary Clinton? The judge went, what? So the judge was like, what? And then if you see this long ass letter what Donald Trump has put out, the man's still talking about Hillary Clinton. You think to yourself, what is it? Is it Hillary's emails? Is that what? Are we still there? Right? All of your people around you have been put in prison, but you're speaking about Hillary's emails. I'm quite sure that the FBI would have looked into Hillary's emails a long time ago, right? And there's probably nothing to see there. Besides, all of Donald Trump's people in the White House, yeah, have been doing exactly the same thing that Hillary Clinton was accused of. So the police are upset with Sadiq Khan, right? Because Sadiq Khan has because he got rid of Cressida Dick, right? So the police are now they're quite annoyed, right? And Sadiq Khan on the radio the other day, yeah, if you heard, right, some of the text messages, some of the WhatsApp messages, yeah, that have been passed from police officer to police officer, right? They covered everything. Right? They covered racism. They covered anti-Semitism. They covered misogyny, and they covered homophobia. So they covered everything. Everything was covered. The only people who haven't been attacked by these police officers, right? Straight white men. But don't think straight white men. Don't think, yeah, that you know what? Well, we're the lucky ones. What about your sisters, your friends, your mum, your dad, brothers? What about them? Right? Yeah, because these police officers are joking about things. They're joking about things about rape. They're taking it like it's a joke. So you go, you know your sister goes, or your mum, or your wife, or your cousin goes to report that she's been raped. And these police officers, what they're thinking in their mind is, well, I wonder what kind of skirt she was wearing. I bet she was wearing something. I bet she was wearing something like a belt. That's what's going through their minds, right? You know, obviously, as black people, we've been telling you for years about all of this, who they really are, right? And now, right, every single community in this country, right, is being disrespected by the police. Every one of us, all of us, right? They made some horrendous anti-Semitic jokes, horrendous, thinking it's funny. Thinking that the gassing of people, finding it funny. It's not funny, but they're finding it funny. You know, and these are the very people who are out there supposed to be protecting us. So good luck with that. So we've got Emmanuel Macron, right? It looks like Emmanuel Macron is trying to broker a peace, right, between, like, let's just say between America and Russia. It looks like they're trying to broker a peace between these guys, right? So Emmanuel Macron looks like he's setting up a meeting between Putin and Biden. How much of these things have we seen over the years? How many right, of these summits have we seen over the years? How many? How much more summits do we need to see? Right, you know something? Yeah, what really pisses me off, right, is that people, right, in all of these countries, right, are hungry. Not making enough money, right, to make ends meet, right? And these guys, right, I can remember these from when I was a kid, just watching these summits between the Americans and the Russians. You think to yourself, get over yourself. Seriously, get over yourself. Look after your population, right? I just find it so annoying. Right, because there's something. It's got to be that when they was kids, they watched presidents and President Putin, presidents and presidents, right? With these summits. So now they're in charge now. Oh, we've got to do the whole summit thing, haven't we? Oh yeah, we've got to do that. We've got to go and waste it's probably going to cost over £1 billion for these guys to meet. Right, trust me, it's going to cost one hell of a lot of money for these guys to meet. Right, money that they're just going to, money that could be going to, to making people's lives better. But no, these guys just have to go down the same nonsense lines. Yeah, a summit. Summit what for? Putin Putin wants this. Obviously, Putin wants this because Putin needs the Russian people, the poor Russian people. Remember that's always the way. It's the poor Russian people that he needs to keep them down. Same with Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, the same with the poor people in this country, right? Boris Johnson needs to be looking strong so the poor people in this country can say, oh, you look at Boris. Oh, he's so commanding. Even though Liz Truss can go and make a damn fool of herself in Russia, right? But Boris Johnson, he, to the uneducated in this country. And I'm talking to you Brexiters, right? That's what I'm talking to. And you Tory voters, not real Tories, not you real Tories, because I have to respect the real Tories, and they're the upper classes, because they're the real Tories. Right? And if it was just the upper classes, right, that was voting for the Tories, right, they'll be like the motherfucking Liberal Democrats. Okay? So they've got to convince the working class people, oh no, we're with you. We have your back. I'll tell you how much they've got your back. Right, let's move on to some Brexit quickly because I'm already 14 minutes in, and I really wanted to get through everything today, right? But I haven't. Still got loads on it, right? But let's talk about some Brexit, right? So Jacob Rees-Mogg, our new Brexit Opportunities Minister, right, has decided the first thing he's going to do, is cut 65,000 jobs. I suppose that's a Brexit bonus. No, it's not, right? Because you know what that is. What that is, that's 65,000 individuals that Jacob Rees-Mogg is just kicking to the curb. They all work up at Whitehall or whatever, right? So he's just kicking them to the curb. They don't need you no more because of Brexit's done and COVID is over, so we don't need you no more. Get lost. 65,000 individuals, but it's probably over 200,000 lives that Jacob Rees-Mogg is just kicking to the curb, as if to say, you know what, they're just lint, right? There's something that you just throw away like a bottle top, right? Just nothing. That's how he's just kicking them to the curb, because the Tories, what you've got to remember, is levelling up, right, means big government, but the Tories believe in small government. So you see, the two don't really work. Right? That's why they're going back on all the levelling up stuff at the moment, right? Chucking in a couple of free ports here and there, right? But that's why they're rolling back on it, because you're talking about the people behind Boris Johnson. Right? They all believe in small government, less invasion in your life from government. That's what they believe in. But levelling up can't be about that. Levelling up has got to be about government being much more involved in much more things. That's the only way how levelling up can work. It can't work any other way, because you see, as I keep telling people, it's just wording. It doesn't mean anything. Levelling up means nothing. Okay, it means nothing. As I've tried to tell people before, right, the only thing that can level you up, is putting money into your pocket, right? They can't level you up by putting some new traffic lights in, or some new humps in the road. That's not leveling you up. Okay, that's not leveling you up. Leveling you up, right, would mean, right, better jobs, much better jobs. I mean, if they're talking about cutting 65,000, they're not. They don't care. They're not interested, right? So when they talk about levelling up, right, it is all a myth. It means nothing, right? Staying with Brexit, Nigel Farage, right, is out still doing hustings. But I tell you, right, the only reason why Nigel Farage can still be out, right, is because Brexit, right, was always about immigrants. What it's always been about. It's been about blacks, Asians, and anybody who speaks a different language, a slight different language to you, right? Brexit has managed to bring out much more anti-Semitism. Do you remember when the chief rabbi told you all to vote for the Tories? You remember that? What's his name? Something Mervis or something like that. Right? But I've no respect for him anyway, because I mean he's the man who's called, he's a holy man who's called for bombings in Gaza, right? On more than one occasion, right? So he's another one. He's just he in his head he's a murderous thug as well. Another one. Right? Oh, by the way, there's still no talk about the apartheid that's been committed on the Palestinian people. When you all the countries like, haven't heard of you, mate. And one of the biggest stories out of Brexit so far, is, I'm glad I stayed because I really wanted to. One of the biggest stories out of Brexit so far, right, is the fact that we are to lose the euro clearing. Now this is major money. I mean, this is major money to the City of London, because I don't know what derivatives are. And But the last time I spoke about this, I still haven't read up what derivatives are, and I should have, but I haven't. But you know something, I do know, right, that it means one hell of a lot because our city trades in trillions in derivatives. It's basically, I believe it's basically like the clearing of the euro financing throughout the world. It's done in the city of London, right? Which obviously the EU had given to us, right? Which brings us in something like 80 billion a year, right? So I don't know whether that's in euros or in pounds, but whichever one it's in, it's one hell of a lot of money, right? So the EU have now just voted to take that away from us. Because I mean, because they can do that, because you know, because we left the EU and we no longer have a I keep on forgetting the word I'm looking for, veto. We no longer have a veto because we could have vetoed this. I mean, if any of the EU countries were still friendly with us, one of them could have just vetoed this and say no, it's staying in London. But they didn't. They all voted us out. Get out. Right? Take it away. And you know the strange thing is the EU don't even have a mechanism to do this themselves yet. Right? So now they've got to go and set that up. Right. So we've still got it for another 2.5, 3 years. We've still got it for. Right. But after that, 2025, it's gone. So it probably got to Frankfurt or to the Dutch. Right. So that's another major. When I tell you a major blow, a punch in the guts, a major punch in the guts. Right? Because you know people was thinking to themselves, well, you know what, we're sending the EU, what was it, 350 million a day or what was it a week, whatever was on the side of that bus. It's nothing compared to what we've lost. Nothing at all. Because this in one hit is 80 billion. So imagine how much jobs up the city, right, are going to have to be gone because of that. It's 80 billion. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. Well over my time. It was really nice to speak to you. Comments below.